Hiba needs help with the getting into the Prophet Stories class.
I will.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam, Khadija.
وعليكم السلام.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you guys all doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Fine as usual. Alhamdulillah.
I hear positive. Okay, good. That's good. I'm glad you guys are all doing well.
Khadija, are you here? I can
Mr. Bombastic. I got a question. What?
A question already? Oh my goodness.
No,
What is your question?
I'll say, Khadija, they want to see your face. They think
No, I don't
Can
want
you
to.
play the game?
Girls and boys, please no extra question, only question related to Salah. If you have the question related to Salah, speak out, otherwise please listen to the lecture. We are running out of time. Thank you so much.
Yes, we're also.
Hamza.
Shush, do you have all of you? Should I mute all of you?
No.
If you guys are gonna do something like that, I'm gonna take away your muting privileges. And I already have, so I can't do anything about it. Okay, mute. There we go. Okay, you can type in the chat. The chat is free, but only things that are useful, okay? Do not type unnecessary things because it is distracting. All right. So yesterday we learned about how there was only a thin curtain of light between Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and or you know what? Let's start with Bismillah first. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. And yeah, so yesterday we learned about how Allah is always facing you when you are praying and how these are pre-booked appointments, right? That you have with Allah, the one who created you. So you should be early for these appointments and you should be on time and you should pay attention and you should give all of your focus to Allah while you're praying because He's giving you all His attention, right? While you are praying, even before you start praying, even if you're running late, Allah's there. He's waiting for you. He isn't like, oh, He doesn't give up on you and say, okay, next person. He's waiting for you. He's standing there. He's there. He's waiting for you to come and pray. So today, we're going to talk about a different, a continuing topic related to that, about Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, okay? Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his prayer was obviously one of the best prayers because he was the most perfect person, right? To ever walk this earth. His prayer was obviously excellent. Did he just pray 5 times a day, do you think? Only Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. Do you think he only prayed 5 times a day? Thumbs up if you only think he prayed 5 times a day. Only. He actually prayed more than that. He prayed more than 5 times a day. One of the prayers he used to pray was every night called the Tahajjud prayer. And I'm sure many of you know about this, right? The Tahajjud prayer, the prayer right after midnight, before Fajr. It's like after Isha and before Fajr. He used to wake up and pray for a really, really long time. Why? Can you guess why? Hold on, let me I'll let you guys unmute yourselves. Please do not talk over each other. Raise your hand why you think Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would wake up in the middle of the night and pray for a really, really long time. Ahmed?
Yes.
Why do you think Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prayed for a really long time in the middle of the night? He could be sleeping. He could be sleeping and dreaming about, I don't know, chocolate. Why did he decide to wake up in the middle of the night and pray?
He prays for Fajr.
Yeah, he prays for Fajr. But before Fajr and after Isha, he used to pray in the middle of the night. He used to wake up in the middle of the night, sacrifice his sleep, and he used to pray for a really, really long time. Why? It was only because he loved it. He loved it so, so much, and he enjoyed it. He loved talking to Allah and meeting with Allah in his prayer. Because remember, it's literally a private meeting with Allah. It's your own one-on-one conversation that you're having with Allah, right?
Yes.
So towards the end of
Okay,
oh,
Ishal, sorry. Ishal, what do you think why Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was getting up for the prayer, Tahajjud prayer? Ishal, 11 years old, Ishal.
Hello? Hello?
yep, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay,
Hello?
maybe she cannot hear us. So continue, Khatija.
Continue. All right. So towards the end of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's life, during his like last few years of living, the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he became extremely sick. He got so sick, he wasn't even able to walk properly. He wasn't able to. At one point, there was a time where he couldn't even get up to brush his own teeth, right? Like it was really bad. He was extremely sick. So one day, he got up and he asked, hold on. Oh, we already went through this. He loved praying, right? He loved praying. So one day he was very, very sick. Okay, he was very sick one day and he got up and he asked, have the Muslims prayed? And he was told, no, Ya Rasulullah, they're waiting for you. And then he was like, okay, bring me a bucket of water, I'll wash up and then we will go pray. But remember, he was really sick, right? So even when they brought the bucket of water, he tried to get up, but he collapsed and he fainted, right? And once again, he woke up and he said, have the Muslims prayed? And then the people around him, like the Sahaba, right? They'd say, no, Ya Rasulullah, they're waiting for you. And Muhammad ﷺ, again, he was like, okay, bring me a bucket of water, I'll wash up, and then we'll go pray, okay? And he tried to get up again. He tried to do his wudu, but he couldn't. The bucket of water was brought to him, and he just collapsed. He fainted. And again, when he woke up, the first thing wasn't like he was like, "Oh, give me some medicine. I need to like get better. Or give me water. Maybe I'm like dehydrated, or give me food. I'm hungry." That's not what he was worried about. What was he worried about? If people have prayed yet, right? He asked again, have the Muslims prayed? No, Ya Rasulullah, they are waiting for you. So he said, okay, bring me a bucket of water, I will wash up and then we will go and pray. So again, they brought a bucket of water and he tried to get up, but he collapsed and fainted again. Then again, a bunch of times he kept on doing this and he kept on asking, have the Muslims prayed? And he continued and continued again and again like this. The cycle continued. And then eventually he kept trying, but he couldn't. So finally, he asked his best friend, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, to come and lead the prayer so everyone's prayers were not delayed. Right? So we could see from this how much pain he was in. Like that is a lot of pain. Like imagine you get up and every single time you get up, you just fall and faint. And then you wake up again. And then what would be the first thing that comes to your mind? What would you want to do? You would want someone to like give you like an Advil or something, right? So that you can get better. But that's not what his worry was. His worry was, have the Muslims prayed yet? Right? Make sense? Are we all good? Thumbs up if we're all good. I want to see you guys' thumbs up. Yes? Okay, you're all okay. Good, wonderful. I am happy now. Okay, so we can see from this how much pain he was in. He wasn't even able to stand up, yet he was extremely concerned about our prayers. Have the Muslims prayed yet? Have the Muslims prayed? He kept on asking and he kept on trying to lead the prayer and he kept on fainting. He kept on collapsing, right? Can you imagine how worried you must be for that to happen, right? Like you keep on when, for example, if I was to faint, right? I've never fainted before, but if I was to faint and if I was to get up and I felt extremely sick, I would not get up. I would lay there and wait for someone to get me an Advil, and I would be so sick and tired, right? But that's not what Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did. He tried on getting up and he couldn't get up, okay? So the days kept on passing, and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ kept on getting sicker and sicker. And in his final days, in his final days, he got so sick that he couldn't even move. He couldn't even move his mouth enough to brush his own teeth. Imagine being so tired you can't even move your mouth. Like, that's how sick he was. He was in so much pain, and probably the greatest pain that anyone has ever experienced. Can you imagine that? Like, open your mouth right now. You can open it perfectly fine, right? With no problem. Right? No problem whatsoever. Muhammad ﷺ, he couldn't even move his mouth, let alone speak. He couldn't even move his mouth. But even in this pain, there was just one word that he kept on repeating again and again and again. And what was that word? Salah. Salah. He kept on repeating it again and again. Even though he was in so much pain, he was so sick and he was so tired, that's all he kept on repeating again and again. So of course there must have been a lot of things that Muhammad ﷺ wanted to remind people before he was gone, but this was the one thing that he kept on repeating. This is the one he was most worried about. Will they pray after I'm gone? Will they forget to pray? He knew that if the Muslims held on to their prayer, they would be fine. They would be strong and successful. Because if you pray to Allah, you're praying for Zuhur, and at the end of your Salah, you pray to Allah, oh Allah, please make me a better Muslim. Please keep me on the path of guidance, right? Then you're going to be a better Muslim. If you ignore your Salah, if you're not praying, you're not going to get the things you want, right? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Thumbs up, yes, if that makes sense. I want to make sure you are all with me. Okay, good. So that's all Muhammad ﷺ was worried about, that if they left their prayers, then of course they would be extremely weak. They would lose their Islam, right? And we don't want to lose our Islam. And their enemies would overcome them. Then one day, just a day or two actually before he died, good. He could stand up actually this time. He stood up and he opened the curtain of his door. The Prophet's room was actually connected with the masjid. So when he opened the door, he could see like directly in the masjid. And he saw hundreds of people standing in rows to pray. So imagine you've been so sick and you're trying to make people listen, and you're trying to make sure that everybody prays and stays with Islam, right? And one day you feel better, you open the curtains of your door and you see, oh my God, everybody's praying. You'd be very excited. Well, Muhammad was very excited. He was very happy. And he just stood there looking at them and he was smiling. He was so happy. Now, wait, I forgot to mention one thing here. Yes, the badge of honor. Would you like to know how you want to get a badge of honor? Or how you could get a badge of honor? The Tahajjud, right, is a prayer that is in the last third of the night when Allah actually comes down to the lowest heaven. And he says, is there anyone asking for anything so I can give it to them? Is there anyone seeking forgiveness so I can forgive them? So Allah is actually going down to the lowest heaven during the time of Tahajjud, which is after Isha and before Fajr, so in like the middle of the night, in the last third of the night actually. You can ask your parents how to calculate that and they'll let you know. So Allah actually comes down to the lowest heaven. And he's there, he's watching. Does anybody want forgiveness? Is anybody asking for anything? What can I do for my people? Because he loves us very much, right? It's Allah. He loves everyone. It's Allah. So he wants to see if anyone's awake in the middle of the night, desperate for something they desperately want, right? So honestly, if you want something really, really bad, wake up in the middle of the night, pray Tahajjud, and you will get it. Inshallah. If not now, then in the next world, you will get it. Because Tahajjud is like, what's that hadith? It's like an arrow that never misses its target. You guys know what an arrow is, right? Like a bow and arrow. And if you shoot it, then it hits right at its target. It doesn't always hit it though, but with Tahajjud, it always hits the target. You always get what you want. So most of the people during this time, they're usually sleeping, but a few are awake and they're standing in prayer in the darkness and in the silence of the night. And there are Muslims all over the world who leave their sleep and they sacrifice their sleep and their comfortable beds and their cozy blankets and the wonderful heat of being in your bed. And they stand up in prayer while everyone is in deep sleep. Can you imagine how successful those Muslims must be? Because if you make any dua in tahajjud prayer, then it's going to happen. And if these people, they're making any dua they want, don't you want to do that as well? You want to do that as well, don't you? Like, get anything you want? Okay. All right, so we will continue. Sorry, okay. Okay, so we just when Muhammad ﷺ, he opened the curtain of his door, he looked and he saw the masjid and all the people praying, hundreds of people praying, and he was so happy. And he had a big smile on his face. Would you want to see Muhammad ﷺ smile? Would you want to see his beautiful smile on his face? One day, inshallah, in Jannah? Wouldn't that be so beautiful? He was truly so happy to see that they were holding on to their prayer. And even when he was not there to remind them, they were holding on to their prayer, right? He wasn't there to remind them, so now he was comfortable and he was happy that even when I'm not going to be here, they're still going to be praying, right? So can you imagine how happy he will be when he meets you? When, inshallah, when you go to Jannah Firdaus and you meet him and you tell him, oh, my name is, I don't know, my name is, what's my name? Oh, KHADIJA, right? My name is KHADIJA and I lived 1,000 years, more than 1,000 years after you passed away in the 21st century, and I have prayed all my life exactly the same way that you taught us. Imagine how happy he'll be that even 1,000 years after you were still praying and people were still holding on to their salah. Wouldn't that be so beautiful? Would you want to see him so happy? Would you want to talk to Muhammad ﷺ in Jannah? Yeah. Hopefully you all want to, because that would actually be very exciting. That would be amazing. I would love to do that. And inshallah, you all will make it there. We will all make it there. So yeah, you get to talk and you get to talk to Muhammad ﷺ in Jannah Firdaus. And obviously this isn't what Jannah actually looks like. It will look way better than you can even imagine. Okay. So take home message basically is that, hold on. I have a question for you guys. What would you guys ask Muhammad ﷺ? What is the first thing that you guys would ask Muhammad ﷺ when you see him? Like the first thing, raise your hand and I want to hear what you guys would say to Muhammad ﷺ. The first time you saw him, the first thing that you would ever say to him. What would you say? Here, okay, Ishal, you go ahead.
I would ask him like, did he go to Earth? Like, I forgot.
Yeah, he was on Earth.
How
All the
ma-
prophets were on Earth.
how many people did he taught Quran?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I feel like that'd be a lot of people. That's a good question. What do you think, Saad? What would you ask?
Never mind, I forgot.
You forgot? That's okay. You can mute yourself. What would
Okay,
you ask, Akiba?
Well, I would ask that, can I stay with you in Jannah?
Oh, yeah. I would ask that too. That would be so amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say, Muhammad? Oh, my bad. I lost you. Here we go. What would you ask Muhammad ﷺ?
I would ask, how old are you?
How old are you? That's a good question. I'm pretty sure all of us in Jannah were going to be the exact same age.
Okay.
All of us in Jannah. Yeah, that would be so exciting though. Ahmad, what would you ask?
Yeah, are we playing the game at the end?
Would you ask that to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when you meet him in Jannah?
What?
Would you ask that to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when you meet him in Jannah? Are you going to ask him about the game?
No.
No? Okay. We'll play the game later.
Okay.
Muhammad Saif, what would you ask? The first thing that you would say to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Jannah when you meet him, inshallah.
I'd ask I'll probably ask him. Oh, where was it? Oh, yeah. Well, I'd ask him.
You can think about it. You can think about it. That's okay.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Dear
Sorry.
kids, everybody start thinking from right now, that what you will gonna talk about your salah, because Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is so much into salah. He was so much worried about everybody's salah, everybody's prayers, how you guys are praying. So your prayers should be the best, so you can show your face to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yes, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I prayed just like you. I have the same worriness of the prayers. I was praying, I was memorizing the Quran and doing my memorizing Quran in the prayers. I was focusing, I was meeting Allah as you have met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the night journey. So you have to start thinking about all these things. How we will show our face to our Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam if we are not doing the things which he told us to do, right? So ponder over it.
Okay. I think we got a very good message over there. So yeah, he would be very happy to see you as well. If you tell him that I followed it's Allah's command, but I followed you, I used you as a role model, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he would be so happy. He would be very happy to meet you. He'll give you a big hug. He might even invite you to drink from his river. He might invite you to his palaces. You're gonna eat delicious Jannah food with him. Like, that's so amazing. He would love you so much, inshallah, right? And you could walk around like the gardens of Jannah, and where the sand is like white powder of perfume. That's literally what the sand is gonna be like. White powder of perfume. It would smell so good. It wouldn't smell like beach. Like, I know some people like the smell of beach, but it'll smell like clean, beautiful beach, you know? I hope I'm making sense. And the lights, you know what the lights are made of? They're made of pearls. And you could sit with him at the beach or at the garden or whatever and hear all about his life from himself. He would tell you everything. And then you could tell him about your life. You could tell him about all your stories, all the times that he inspired you, all the times that you followed his footsteps, right? Oh, that's so exciting. I hope we all go to Jannah for those. That would be so amazing. Inshallah. Okay.
Isra? Oh, yes.
Wait, it's not done.
you
Hold
done?
on. Take home message. Take home message. No, I'm not done.
Okay, take home message.
Just really quickly. So Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's last wishes, right, was for us to keep up our salah. We should understand his struggles and not let it go to waste. So if he's gone through so much struggle just to make sure that we all pray, we should make sure that we don't waste his time, right? Because if we're not praying, we're basically just wasting his time. If we pray, we make him happy. We make Allah happy. We make Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam happy. But there's one more person who we make happy. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, okay? So just think about that. Who's the other person that we'd be making happy? All right? And that is it. Jazakallah khair. What is that? Okay. There you go. Inshallah, you guys learned something. I will see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.